Hello everyone, hey, this is Cornelius Simon with No Limits Consulting and Coaching. Today I want to talk to you about breaking the vicious cycle of procrastination. 5 tips that you can use to start getting stuff done. Now, if you're like me, you struggle with procrastination. It's not uncommon. In fact, there's a statistic out there, I think like 25% of people, probably a larger number now because it was an older research, but 25% of people struggle with procrastination. And so it's been something that I've battled with for a long time, and I've just started finally call over the next past several weeks, started looking at, okay, how can I improve my this habit of procrastinating? And so I went off and did some research on this subject, and I want to share that with you in this video here today. So if you're struggling with procrastination, you want to tune in because it's really going to help you get some things done in your life there. So some interesting facts about procrastination is that people who procrastinate, I thought this was interesting. People who procrastinate tend to experience delays in self-development and personal maintenance. Now, when I look at my life, I don't see how that really applies, but I thought it would be helpful to share it to you because I'm very, I'm always working on bettering myself and keeping up with my growth experience, both personally and professional. But, just some facts that from this research shows. Another interesting fact is that typical causes of procrastination is anxiety, and I can relate to I don't want to go do this, I don't want to go do that. Low frustration levels or tolerance, and sometimes when we procrastinate about doing things, it's because we just we get anxious or we get that anxiety about sitting down for a long period of time and have to do that, and so that just belabors this vicious cycle, carry on this vicious cycle of procrastinating. So let's talk about some impact. Before I get into these tips here, I want to share with you some impact of procrastinating. What are some impacts? So before we get into the tips about procrastination or how to break the procrastination cycle, let's look at some of the things that it impacts. How can it impact our lives? Number one, it can cause financial loss. Now, I've been guilty of this before in the past where I would not pay my bills on time. And because of procrastination, I'll get to it. And when I finally get to it, I see there's a late fee on the payment. Procrastination. So procrastination can also cause financial loss. Another impact of procrastination is missed opportunities. You ever look back at something like, man, if I would have just did this on time, I would have missed this opportunity. If I would have just been there on time, I would have missed this opportunity. So we find that procrastination can impact us in several different ways. Some other ways that I found in my research is health issues, deteriorating health, from unnecessary stress, bad relationships or hurting your relationships. Procrastination can impact us in multiple ways in different areas of our life where it comes down to happiness or being successful. So we want to break this vicious cycle of being procrastinators. You know what? I'm tired of it. I know there's some things that I can do to improve myself, and I want to help you with some of these tips that I found in my research that I've already started applying in my life. Number one, these larger tasks that we don't want to do, that we're dreading to sit down and do, break them into smaller tasks. And as we break them into smaller tasks, they become much more digestible for us to be able to do. So we want to look at breaking larger tasks into smaller subtasks or smaller tasks. Number two, okay, and now the second tip that I want to share with you for breaking this vicious cycle of procrastination so you can get stuff done is imagine the task already completed. What would it feel like if you already completed the task? Would it feel good? Like, oh man, I did it. Whoo, I finally got that out the way. What would that feeling be like when you complete that task? And now that can help you be able to be more inspired or motivated to actually sit down, or whatever the task is, to sit down and do the task, if you are able to see what it would feel like, or have the feeling of completing the task. So that's tip number 2. Imagine the task already being completed. Number 3, to getting stuff done and to break this vicious procrastination cycle, is set up an reward system. Set up a reward system. What can you do to help give you that motivation to do that? Well, create yourself a reward. If I do this, then I'll get that. Once I complete this, then I'll be able to do this. If you want to go out and golf, you know what? Finish this task first before you go hit the driving range. If you want to go work out, finish this task first before you go out and go to the gym. So set up for yourself a reward system, and that reward system can be that carrot, if you will, that will drive you to finish that task. Tip number 4, have an accountability partner. Have someone that you have to say, you know what, I want to finish this task here by such and such date. Would you hold me accountable for doing that? Now, you don't want to just choose anybody. You want to choose someone that's going to actually, hold you to the fire and, give you some feedback if you don't. You don't want to say, okay, well, I understand, man, you can go ahead and do it the next time. No, find someone that's going to hold you accountable and that's going to call you in the hot seat, or put you in the hot seat if you do not complete this task when you have decided that you want to have it done. So that tip number 4 is have an accountability partner. Number 5, limit your distractions. If not altogether, cut them out. So limit your distractions. You know what? When you sit down to do a task, turn your phone over or mute your phone, shut down your emails, shut down your Facebook notifications, anything that can distract you from completing this task. Because to understand this, as you are procrastinating, or if you continue to procrastinate, it has an impact on your life, whether it's business, personal, relationship, financial. So you want to say, you know what? I need to get this done. I already told someone I'm going to get this done by this date here, and they're going to hold me accountable. Now I need to cut out all distractions so that I can complete this task. Now, when you're looking at what you're trying to do, I have some things at my desk here that I know I need to get completed by the end of this week here. It is now Monday. And you know what? I'm just going to get started on it. I'm not going to wait till Friday. I'm not going to wait till Wednesday. I'm just going to get started on it. I'm going to do a little bit at a time. And I know by come Friday, I will have it complete. So this takes me into my exercise. Here's a simple exercise that you can do in order to help break this vicious cycle of procrastination. I call it the 10-minute sprint. Okay, here you go. So choose something that you've been putting off. Something that you know you need to get done, but you haven't done it yet. And you want to, I want to break this cycle of procrastinating with this task here. You know what? Choose this task here. Schedule a time for you to do it. Schedule a time for you to get started. We're not looking at yet of completing the entire task, but just getting started. So schedule time for you to get started. Third thing you want to do in this 10-minute sprint is block out all distractions. As I share with you in my tip, in this exercise here, you want to block out all distractions, set an alarm, get your phone out, set a timer for 10 minutes, sit down, start that timer, and go at it for 10 minutes straight. Do as much as you can for 10 minutes. And when you do that, you'll see how much you can accomplish. And if you really do it correctly and you think through this here, and you really focus in on these 10 minutes, you'll find out that, you know what, this task is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And then you take a break, and then you start this cycle, this 10-minute sprint again. Maybe even take it up to maybe 50 minutes or 20 minutes. But the point is, it's getting you to get started and not be overwhelmed by something have to happen over a long period of time, but just doing smaller pieces at a time. Remember I said earlier, my first tip, break larger tasks into smaller subtasks to make it more manageable for you to break this cycle of procrastination. Well, you know what? I'm charged up now. I'm motivated. I'm ready to go out and tackle these tasks here that I got sitting on my desk. And I'm going to do this 10-minute sprint where I can just get something done for 10 minutes, look at it, think about my reward system that I want to have, and just get it done. You know what? It's all about getting started. Nike would say, just do it. I want to say to you is get started. Take care.